So 10 minutes after 10, I'd like to call this meeting to order. And this is our first CANECSA Fellows meeting. And it's a virtual meeting via Zoom. And the agenda is as presented on our screen. So we have welcome formalities, a brief about CANECSA and her activities. And we look at starting CANECSA training in Namibia. We'll be discussing with us about the outcome of our meetings with FPCNA thus far, and would inform us about the graduation ceremony for fellows in Harare. And then we'll have item 6 on the agenda, which will be any other business, questions, interactions, and then we conclude. Can I please ask any of the fellows present to adopt this agenda for discussion, please?
Okay, I want to adopt raise the motion or support the motion to adopt the agenda.
Okay. Thank you. Do you have a seconder? Can somebody second the motion for adoption of these items on the agenda for discussion, please?
I second.
Okay.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, Dr. Shivera. Okay, Dr.
Yes,
Chris, you're welcome. Good morning. Dr. Chris, can you hear me?
Morning. Hello, everyone. I'm late.
All right, we just started about 2 minutes ago. So the agenda is here. You're welcome. Welcome formalities. Let me just quickly welcome each and every one of us distinguished Foundation Fellows of the College of Anesthetists of East, Central, and Southern Africa. We want to welcome you and thank you for creating times to join this meeting. Like I mentioned before, the agenda is as presented. So it's more of an interactive meeting, questions and answers, and giving ourselves information regarding CANECSA and the activities. And as the discussions proceed, if there are other matters that require clarifications or discussion, we shall entertain them. So once more, I'd like to welcome us all, especially Dr. Teresa Shivera, who the founding president of Anesthetic Society of Namibia, who we have worked tirelessly together in bringing CANECSA to where it is right now. So Dr. Teresa Shivera, we especially recognize you and recognize your effort thus far. So welcome once again, colleagues, to this important meeting. All right, the second item on the agenda, I'd like to just give us a brief about CANECSA. You may stop me at any point for clarifications so that the meeting can be taken in blocks of discussion. So CANECSA stands for College of Anesthetists of East, Central, and Southern African countries. This was established in 2011 by the East Central Southern African Council of Health Ministers. And at the moment, the college comprises of 10 member countries: DRC Congo, DRC, that is Democratic Republic of Congo, Tanzania, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Namibia, Malawi, Kenya, Rwanda, Uganda, and Eswatini. So those are the 10 member countries. The last meeting we had, we were told that Botswana and some other countries are on the verge of joining. But at the moment, CANECSA is made up of 10 member countries, like I've mentioned before. And the import of its establishment was to develop curriculum to deliver fellowship training programs in anesthesia and critical care in the sub-region. All right, I'm also aware the president of the college, Dr. Mopoki, is collaborating with other sister colleges across Africa, the West African College, and the National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria, so that we can have the uniform training program across the African continent. Right, so that is just a brief. Fortunately for us, the association, the Namibian Association of Anesthetists, joined CANECSA recently, and I want to thank God for the efforts of everyone, the president, Dr. Jesse Mumba in absentia, Dr. Chris Blanche, who also helped in getting some of the support from some of our pharmaceutical companies. I want to thank the pharmaceutical company who also helped us in paying the required membership fees. And with all of this said, Namibia became a member country of CANECSA. So that's just a brief about CANECSA and its activities. And maybe I should add also that we have two types of exams, and some of these things we shall discuss in the course of our subsequent meetings: the membership and the fellowship of the college are the two exams that take place every year. All right, so that's just about the brief. I don't know if we have comments, questions, answers about the brief, something else that I've missed we want to ask. We may ask so that we can provide the missing gaps in what I've presented. Thank you, colleagues. Any comments, any questions? Okay, there seems to be none. All right, so we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, which is about starting CANECSA training in Namibia. All right, when CANECSA was first introduced to the country, there were some prerequisites, some preconditions that needed to be met before any training activity in CANECSA could be started. And one of them was identification of foundation fellows. These are specialists, anesthesiologists who are so registered with the Health Professional Council of Namibia. And thankfully, we've been able to get that sorted out. At the moment, the recent ones were 11 in numbers who have been awarded the Foundation Fellows, and in touch with the Secretariat in Arusha for the issuance of the certificate of fellowship. And I've been assured that that is being done. And before now, Professor Ambrose Rukeve was also awarded the Foundation Fellow. I must say that he's the first Foundation Fellow of CANECSA. And so in total, we have 12 Foundation Fellows of CANECSA in Namibia. And I think that is a very plausible development. So having crossed that, the next one is to identify trainers among these Foundation Fellows, and for which there will be a training of the trainer, or train the trainer seminar, which the college is already organizing, and in due course, this will be communicated to us. And in our WhatsApp group, I got to know that all of us are interested in becoming trainers. So this trainer seminar will be conducted by the college. It is going to be a hybrid, as many who can travel and those who cannot. A virtual platform will be provided for this training. The third one is identification of training sites. All right, and aware that before now, Dr. Lina Nayalo, sorry, I'm muting. Okay, you're welcome, Dr. Sebose. My apology if I'm not pronouncing that name well. You're welcome. The meeting started about 10 minutes ago, but we have the recording that may be made available if we need it. So the third one is identification of training sites. Before now, I'm aware that Dr. Nayalo had applied for Windows Central Hospital Complex, that is including Windows Central and Intermediate Hospital, Intermediate Katutura Hospital, Intermediate Hospital Katutura as training site. So that application has been submitted, but we are hoping to have at least 2 training sites, one in the north and the one here in Bindu. So the identification of training site needs to be done as soon as possible, so that after all this is done, the college will send accreditation team to these different training sites for them to be accredited for training. So Dr. Chris and Dr. Suwenda and Dr. Shivolo would like you, and Dr. Onoche, would like you to put your heads together to identify whether you're going to use a Shakati, which looks more like it, or on a joke where we're going to combine the 2 sites together. And I will want the letter to be written so that I can submit it to the secretariat in Arusha. All right. And the fourth one about preparation to start CANECSA training is the need for us to submit the CANECSA curriculum to the Health Professional Council for evaluation and accreditation. So that is the next step to take. All right, colleagues, I don't know if we have any comments or questions regarding what I have said thus far. Any comments? Any observation?
I have a question.
Okay, Dr. Chris, go ahead.
I think, Teresia, your hand was up first. Do you want to go first?
Okay. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, Dr. Toby, thank you very much for that information that you've given us. I just have a question regarding the training sites. I just want to find out the requirements. So which sites do qualify to be training sites? That's the first thing, what the requirements are. And then, and here we are assuming that HPCNA has accredited the curriculum, right?
Yes, because we are submitting. We were there yesterday, and I'll give us a brief of our discussion after this present item we are discussing.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I just want to know what the requirements are for training sites, because my understanding, please correct me, it's to train anesthetists wherever training sites have been accredited or registered.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Yeah. So does this also mean that the private sector can qualify, a private hospital can qualify as a training site?
Okay.
Yeah, so those are the requirements. Maybe just a brief overview what the requirements are to be recognized as a training site, and then whether private sector does qualify in this whole exercise.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Your questions are noted. The requirement for training sites was sent, and especially in response to Dr. Nayalo's letter, and that I will share. But we also need to, sometimes the identified training sites may not meet up all the requirements, but we need to first of all get the training sites identified within ourselves and see if we need to upgrade or provide some of to meet the requirements. Well, the requirements will be shared to us via our WhatsApp group. Well, it will be good for us to agree together here on the training side. But the requirement will also be shared as provided for us from the Secretariat in Arusha. Thank you. Dr. Nabeb, your hand is up. I don't know. Yeah. I can't see Chris' hands anymore. So, Dr. Nabeb, you can go ahead.
Yes, my question is regarding the trainers training, the seminar that is being proposed. I wanted to find out if you have an idea when this will happen and where, and more or less the program for the trainers. Is there a particular program already set in place, or is that something still to come up? The when, the where, and the duration.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Nabeb. The last time we had discussion with the registrar, Dr. Doreen from Zimbabwe, they were still trying to get the date because it's not only Namibia. The DROC also just joined recently. So the foundation fellows or the identified trainers will be trained alongside other trainers. So it's not only Namibia. And once the date has been finalized, I'm sure they will communicate with us, and then I can also communicate to the rest of us. But I think from the last discussion we have, Dr. Doreen and it's going to be a hybrid one. So I don't think there'll be a requirement to travel, but it's going to be more of a hybrid one where we can have virtual training alongside face-to-face. But the details will be communicated to us as soon as the Secretariat have come up with the modalities and the date. But suffice to note here that I have submitted the names of those who indicated interest to become trainers to the Secretariat. So we'll just wait for them to give us the date and modality. But it is important that these TOT trainings be done before training can start. Yes, Dr. Chris, I can see your hands. Please, you may go ahead.
Hi, thank you very much, Toby. So I mentioned I want to train the trainers with CANECSA. I don't know if that is a valid thing or the CANECSA one is somehow different. That was run over a weekend in Windhoek, I think a year or two ago. So that would be my question. If I've done that, do I still have to do the repeat, train the trainers? If it's similar, then the training was done over a weekend, 2 days. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Chris. I think it's an advantage to have had a TOT with CANECSA, but definitely the CANECSA training may follow some the same pattern, but obviously there will be some peculiarities with CANECSA. Well, I hear your questions, and I would communicate such to the Secretariat. I don't have the answer because I've not also undergone the training. So I will communicate this to the Secretariat and the registrar. So if they think or they say that the training you have had with processor will suffice, that'll be fine. If not, the same will be communicated to you so that appropriate arrangement can be made for TOT for CANECSA. Thank you. Any other comments? Any other questions? Dr. Frederica Shiweda, you're welcome. Yes, Dr. Teresa.
Yeah, I just remembered the fellows or the registrars who are going to be trained, will they just be from Namibia or just from the whole region? Can somebody from, let's say, Malawi apply to rotate at a Namibian site?
Okay. Let me get a question. Maybe somebody from part of the member states of member countries,
Correct.
All right, of CANECSA, can they rotate through the regions?
Correct.
Yes. I think, yes, because it's the same curriculum and the same, especially once the training sites have been accredited by the college and the trainers have been trained, I think they can rotate, but I do not have a definite word from the secretariat. And I would also include this as part of the finding letters that I would do to the secretariat. So it's noted, and I would forward it. Once I get clarifications, I would let you know. But from the rule of the thumb, I think it is possible.
Yeah. And I might have missed it, Toby, with the private sector. How far can the private sector be involved in this?
No, like what you said, I did say that I'm going to forward that to us, because the requirement I had was that of these other institutions that Dr. Nayalo had already applied for. But part of the requirements, I didn't see, what's it called, the private hospital. But like I said, I don't have a final say on that. And this will be communicated to the secretariat for, an authority statement on that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Dr. Shivolo?
Yes.
Dr. Shivolo, I saw your hand up.
Yes, I had one question about identifying the training sites. I wanted to know if there is a deadline for submission of identification of these training sites.
What I was told is, I think the first thing is for us to get HPCNA to accredit the curriculum, and after that, they would come for the assessment of the training site. But yeah, I think Dr. Ahmed, please. All right. I hope I heard us. Sorry for that distraction. I think we can submit, the earlier the better. We can submit application, all right, for the training sites to be accredited. But the accreditation may not take place until HPCNA has evaluated and accredited the curriculum. And from my discussion, maybe I should just say that myself and Dr. Mandi were at the HPCNA office where we tabled this matter before them. And I have the application form. What they said is we need to get a letter from CANECSA stating that our society has been accepted as a member of the college. All right. So that is being done, and we've gotten the letters from CANECSA to that effect. They also requested that the society, that is the Anesthesia Society of Namibia, should also write a letter to state that Namibia is a member country, because they want to know who's responsible for the training. And as a society that we all belong to, we need a letter. They need a letter to state categorically that we are now member country of CANECSA, in addition to stating who these trainers are going to be. So those two letters and the pipeline, and once that is done, the curriculum also, we have the curriculum. We'll submit the curriculum with the two letters, and they'll tell us when the evaluation accreditation is done. I need to also add here that it also comes with money. It's about 13,000. We need to pay about 2,740 Namibian dollars, which is a non-refundable application form, fee rather, and then 10,290 for the evaluation of the curriculum. And I think that the society should bear that, because remember that part of the monies that Foundation Fellows paid, 10% went to the society. So out of that, the society should be able to fund the application for evaluation of the curriculum. So that is where we go to. After the curriculum has been evaluated and accredited by HPCNA, then we can inform the college to come for evaluation of the training site. But Shivolo, in answering your question, I think it's teaching time says now, let's make it when the sun shines. Let's get the application submitted to CANECSA. At least when we get that done, everything that follows can be in proper perspective. Dr. Shivolo, I hope I answered your question. Dr. Shivolo?
Sorry, yes, sorry, sometimes I can't find the mic to unmute. Yes, thank you, Prof. Also just wanted, so where would find these applications for submission so we can fill them in and submit?
No, there's no form.
Yes.
For
it's just
application
a letter.
for, just write a letter, send it to me, then I can forward it to the secretariat. That was what Dr. Mayalo did for Windhoek Central Hospital Complex.
Okay.
You know, in that letter, it should involve the capacity of the hospital. All right, how many beds, you know, how many theater suites, how many specialists, does the hospital have an ICU? These are some of the things, just a general overview of the training site to be accredited. Those are the information that should be included in the letter. All right, Dr. Nabeb, Dr. Shivera, are you? I see Dr. Onoche. Okay, let's say Dr. Onoche. I think the hand came first.
Okay.
Okay. All right, Prof. Good morning. Just to make some suggestions based on the experience I have coming from West African College of Anesthesia. Normally, when it comes to accreditation and another way, maybe a way through which the private sector can get involved, the accreditation is normally rigorous, and their requirements might not really be met by one hospital. I know back then, it's possible, for instance, a private hospital to be joined to a government hospital in seeking for accreditation. You could find a situation, for instance, Onanjokwe now doesn't have, maybe their ICU might not meet up to the standard. So nothing stops Onanjokwe coming together with Oshakati, then possibly Medipac, if they are interested, to seek a joint accreditation. That's where you will now find out that the specialists in Medipac, those in Onanjokwe and in Oshakati, will be involved, will be automatically trainers. Then you'll see that some rotations could be done in Medipac. Let's say Medipac was chosen specifically because of maybe neuro anesthesia or radiology intervention procedures. Then you notice that the fellows that want to do those postings can now spend some time in the Medipack. But that doesn't mean that the trainers in Medipack only be limited to training them on just that specialty, but it qualifies them as trainers that can get involved eventually as examiners. That way the private sector would get involved. So it might be easier that way than saying just one private hospital, go all out and seek for accreditation. It might not always work out that way. Let's just look for an area of excellence in a private hospital and attach it to an existing government hospital. It will help in getting our private sector colleagues into the training. Then the other question about having a trainer from another country, I think it's possible. The only thing is because we are going to touch patients, assuming you are coming from Malawi, it's good, but you have to be registered with the medical council. Here we are talking of HPCNA. So once you're registered with HPCNA and you're qualified to practice medicine in Namibia, then you can now seek for CANECSA training in Namibia. CANECSA is CANECSA, whether it's done in Namibia or it's done in Malawi or Botswana, you still come out with the same fellowship. That's the beauty of this. It has a wider spread than just the MED program. So those are the things, suggestions I can make for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Onoche. Very beautiful suggestions. We're taking note of. And Madam President, Dr. Shiva, always call her Madam President. Once a president, always a president. I'm sure we take note of that private sector angle that she had raised earlier on. And good point also to note with the trainings from other countries that definitely will require HPCNA, maybe licensing, or a credentialing, whatever it is, for them to be able to rotate through Namibia, for instance, if they're coming from other countries. Thank you very much. Dr. Naubert, your hand is up.
Yes, Prof. Thank you. I wanted to know, when will we get feedback from the HPCNA about the approval of the fellowship curriculum?
Yeah, when we were there, they told us it's not going to take time because the curriculum is not going to change. They're not going to, from inside source, they're not going to change the curriculum because it's not peculiar to Namibia. The curriculum that's been in existence and training has been going on in other centers. So hopefully it shouldn't take long. And by right, pressure from the right quarters, I'm sure that we'll be able to get that done with as soon as possible. So I can't give a definite time, but hopefully it shouldn't take time for us to get the feedback. Thank you. Yeah, Madam President, Dr. Shivel. Dr. Shivera, can you unmute your mic?
Thanks. Actually, that's what I wanted to come in for, just to give a brief overview how HPCNA gets this curriculum accredited and all. So what happens is once HPCNA gets the application from the society or from CANECSA's headquarters, they'll present it to the education committee. I think our last meeting was somewhere in February. So we meet every third month. So I think our next one is probably in June or July. Then the education committee would give recommendations. They go through the curriculum and then gives the recommendation to HPCNA. So we are talking about 3 months where you would expect HPCNA to give you a response. But the education committee has to meet and review the curriculum for approval.
Thank you very much for that privileged information. Thank God we have you as member of the education committee. Thank you. All right, colleagues, any other comments before we go to the next agenda? We have 15 minutes to the hour mark. We don't have much. Yeah, Dr. Chris, your hand is up.
Yeah, thanks. The includes cardiothoracic anesthesia.
Sorry, Chris, can you come again? You are breaking.
Yeah, looking at the curriculum, it includes cardiothoracic anesthesia, meaning any hospital other than Windhoek Central will have to have their trainees rotate into cardiothoracics.
Yes,
thank you.
I think that is correct. The rotation, especially for trainees in Namibia. So even we have 2 or 3 training sites accredited for this particular rotation in cardiothoracic, they will need to come to Windhoek Central, which can easily be accommodated. All right, any other comments? Okay, Dr. Shweda, no comments. I know you said you're in theater, maybe you're busy. All right, so if there are no comments, but if you remember anything, please just signify by raising your hand and the floor will be afforded you. So the last discussion, maybe the last, is the graduation ceremony. Is actually the annual general meetings to scientific conference of the college, which the Zimbabwe Society of Anesthetists has been given the right to host this year. And it's a 2-day program starting from the 22nd of November to the 23rd. The 22nd will be for the graduation of fellows, which we have all been invited to. And then the 3rd day will be all-day scientific conference. And the scientific committee, we told them working around it so that abstracts can be, called for among the member countries. So as we go on, as the information filter in, we would update us. But the graduation ceremony is on the 22nd of November, and we are all enjoying to be present in person, if possible, as many of us who can make it. And since it's a 2-day program, we can also avail ourselves the opportunity of participating at the scientific conference the next day. So that is the information about the graduation ceremony that will be taking place later in the year by God's grace. I'm aware that the Zimbabwe Society, they are still working around it. So as soon as more information come in terms of registration payment and all that, we will communicate the same to us. Yes, Dr. Chris, I can see your hand up again.
Yeah, thanks. I think I indicated on the group, it says our MMed exams. So I'm going to speak to Prof. Rukewa and see, is there any chance the exam could be moved a week to allow people to attend? Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Chris. It will be a good thing, but I'm not promising anything because it's a university exam, and the scheduling of exams and all that is done centrally, but it's not a bad idea. It's not, we can give it a try, and do an official letter to that effect, requesting, and if that will be possible. But if not, those who are not involved in the MMed exam may proceed. But like you said, Maybe Dr. Chris, if you will oblige us, can we ask you to speak on behalf of fellows, foundation fellows in Namibia? You discussed with Professor Ruke, and actually the what's it called, the faculty members of MA training program, to see if it will be possible to maybe shift it by a week or so to allow this to happen. Can we ask you to be our advocate in this regard, Dr. Chris?
Yeah.
Dr. Chris, your network, I can't hear you.
Sorry. Yes, I said I will. Did you hear?
Hey, I can't hear you. I can see your mic moving from here, but I can't hear.
I will do it. Sorry, I don't know why the internet is playing.
Oh, thanks. Thank you. Thank you. I can see your thumb up. So, but you can't tell us a time lapse. Maybe in 2-3 months we should get response so that people who want to travel can make plans.
Yes, I'll try and see if I can get a response next week. At least we should be able to get it's possible or it's not possible.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes, colleagues. Any other business? Any other? Yes, Dr. Norman.
Yes, Prof. I just wanted to find out in terms of cost implications. Firstly, I wanted to find out, is there an annual membership renewal for the fellowship or the trainers? And then secondly, I wanted to find out the costs for the tuition fees for the fellowship.
You're breaking, Dr. Norman.
Okay, can I try it again?
I heard you said, is there any annual membership fee? Then the last one was what I didn't hear.
The last one was the fellowship, the costs for the fellowship. The annual.
What do you mean the cost for the fellowship? The cost.
Yeah, the cost. How much is it going to cost the candidates or the students that will be doing the fellowship annually? Do we have numbers?
Hey, let me say whether let me say to you what I thought I heard. Are you saying that? Are you asking the cost of the annual membership fee? Is that your question? Or are you asking for?
I have two questions. The first one is there an annual membership renewal fee for us as the foundation fellows?
Okay.
And then the second one is, once the program is up and running, what will be the annual fee for the 4 years of the training? Do we have those numbers as well?
Okay. Well, there's annual. Let me answer for the first one. The annual membership fee is $100 for each fellow to maintain their subscription, and the other 200, we paid 300 each to become fellows. The other 200 was a one-stop registration to become foundation fellows, but annually, each foundation fellow is required to pay $100, all right, payable through the society to maintain the annual subscription. Now, if you're asking for the training fees for the trainees, because as trainers, you're not supposed to be paid. So I assume you mean the training fees for the trainers. That details will be communicated to us because I don't have it yet, but it's going to be the trainees who will pay, you know, and it's not like an event as a 4-year thing. I have the training manual, all right, that they sent, and I think I sent the curriculum also. So maybe later on I can share the training manual with us so that we can get ourselves abreast. But it's not something that has been communicated as to how much the trainees will pay. And number two thing is the number of fellows in the country will determine the number of trainees that will be admitted into the program. So one of the things that is even required of us is to state how many potential trainees that can be admitted into the program based on the number of foundation fellows on ground in each country. So I don't know if I got your question and if I answered it correctly to your satisfaction.
Yes, Prof. I got the answer.
Okay. Thank you. Any other? We are 4 minutes to the hour mark. Is there any other comments? Dr. Shibose, would like to hear your voice. Is Dr. Apologies for wrong pronunciation of your name. Can you hear me?
Hi, Dr. Toby. Dr. Shibweva.
Yes, Dr. Shibweva, good to hear your voice.
Unless it's wicked. No, I'm in theater. I'm just logging in to listen. There's a bit of noise in the background.
Okay. But you followed? Do you have any question or anything?
At the moment, I don't have any questions. I followed from halfway there, but yeah, I'm okay for now.
Okay, okay.
All right, thank you.
Dr. Anita?
Yes, Dr. Toby. At the moment, I don't have any question. Most of the issues are addressed by my fellow colleagues. So for now, no question.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I don't think there's any other business for now. But colleagues, I did share the curriculum on the WhatsApp group, and it's obvious Chris read it, that's why he was able to pick up the cardiothoracic rotation. I'd like to encourage us to read it, and at least let's familiarize ourselves with the curriculum. And as we proceed, the details will be clearer, and some of the questions that we may not have answers to will be provided. And these other questions that are not provided here, the answers, I would do a letter to the secretariat, and once we get answers, we will communicate to all of us. But I want to suggest that because we're just starting, we should have regular update meetings, all right, as required as we go on. We will definitely have some update meeting. Somebody's hand is up, let me see. Whose hand is up? I can. Okay, Dr. Shibose, please go ahead.
Good morning, colleagues. Thank you for the opportunity. I just wanted to add my comment. I don't have any question. They asked the question about the private sector, so I thought my answer would come from the clarity as to the involvement of the private sector in the whole bigger cause. Since I am completely in private, but I have an absolute willingness to help increase the capacity in this program. So I'll await to hear how we can help in achieving this goal.
Thank you very much, Doctor. We appreciate that. And I think the way to go, Dr. Onoche gave us a guide. Hopefully, when we get clarifications from the college as to the involvement of private, it shall be communicated on the group, and then we can take it forward from there. But most likely, it's going to be a joint accreditation. I foresee a situation where a private hospital or something can collaborate with a government-approved hospital where rotations may be done, all right, by the trainees going from one place to another. So once we have such clarifications, it will be communicated to us. Thank you so much for your comment.
Thank you.
All right, colleagues. All right. Your hand is still up, or is the old one?
There's the old one, sorry.
The old one, okay. All right, colleagues, if there are no other questions, Dr. Chris, again, Dr. Shivolo, Dr. Onoche, and Madam President, if there is no other comments, can we bring this meeting to a close? I would like to ask any of our fellows to move a proposal for adjournment of this meeting, please. Motion for adjournment.
Okay, let me still move a motion for adjournment of the meeting. I, Onoche, wish to move a motion for this meeting to be adjourned to a later date. Thank you.
Thank you. Chris, your turn. Is that for the motion, to second the motion?
Yes.
Thank you, Chris. All right, colleagues, thank you so much. Thank you for your time. We look forward to an exciting future and, collaborating with one another with different centers for the training of fellows in College of Anesthesia of the East, Central, and Southern Africa. Thank you so much for your time. Do have a wonderful weekend ahead. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you, Prof.
Bye. Show your video as we are leaving. Let's just wave. I like to see your video as we go. It's only Chris that we have seen his face. Show us your video. Bye is on video now. Thank you so much. All right, that is Dr. Talishi. Thank you. Can we see your video as we close? Go. Madam President, I can't see your face. I can see you're muted. Yes, yes. Good to see you.
Thank you.
All right, Dr. Shiboshi, I can't see you.
I thought my video is on. Let's see.
Yeah, let's put our video on. Okay, beautiful. Dr. Onoche is there. Dr. Joanita, Nabeb. Dr. Shiboshi, we can't see your face. We only saw your background. All right, great. Dr. Chris, we have seen your face before. Thank you so much, colleagues. Do have a wonderful weekend. Bye.
Bye.